Hi, welcome to Module 1 of EDPS 502, Basic Concepts in Educational Psychology. I'm super excited to teach this course. EdPsych is pretty much home for me. I love it. I think it is the foundation of everything else that we do as educators. It applies to so many facets of our lives. I hope you'll find that true as you explore the content. And so I'm super jazzed about teaching it. So welcome. Each of the modules will have, or many of the modules will have a video introduction such as this. A couple words about the course in general first. It is a little bit tricky to teach this course because about half of you have quite a knowledge base in educational psychology. About half of you have had an intro level class in EdPsych, while the other half, this is going to be new content for you. So I've got some plans to deal with that, but that's one of the challenges, is teaching to both the expert and the novice audience. We also have perhaps different goals. Some of you are teachers, some of you are going into other helping professions, so your goals might not all, mesh, but the goals of the class are the same for all of us, is that we really want to have a grounding in what is this thing called educational psychology, and how do we explore it. The third tricky thing about teaching this course is that there's so much content, and it is a challenge to figure out, what do I want to make sure that my students walk away with after taking this class? What is the, if we're dealing with basic concepts, basic principles, what are they, and how do I pick and choose from the myriad of various ideas and theories and concepts that this field has to offer? So of course I got to thinking about, well, you could look at this as a concept map with EdPsych in the middle, and then try to devise a concept map, a visual representation of how all of the ideas come together. And when I really thought about it, I realized that if you wanted to be thorough in a concept map of educational psychology, it would end up looking a little like this. Let me get this over here and open up my graphic here of what I think a concept map in educational psychology would look like. It's that complicated. It's also simple, if that makes any sense. No, it doesn't. But you can boil it down to three main areas of focus. And let's see, can I make that a little bigger? Okay, so if you can conceive of educational psychology as having three main domains: students, the learner themselves, learning and motivation, and teaching and assessing. So three domains. And then you can split off and you can begin to consider some of the subtopics of educational psychology. So when we're talking about students, we may be talking about any of these things here: language development, language diversity, immigrant education, culture and diversity, cognitive development, self, social, and moral development, and learner differences and needs. And then, as you can imagine, if we really grew this concept map out, that each one of these subtopics would have many ideas coming off each one. In the realm of learning and motivation, we study behavioral views of learning and cognitive views of learning, and very complex cognitive processes. We study constructivism, social cognitive views of learning, and surely we study motivation, one of my favorite topics to explore, because I think it's so fundamental to everything else that we do. If we're going to talk about teaching and assessing, we'll talk about how to create really solid, nurturing learning environments. We'll talk about teaching every student, and we'll talk about assessment, grading, standardized testing. These are the ideas that Woolfolk, as you see down here, 2014, puts forward as the main ideas, the main domains of educational psychology. So that's a little bit more manageable than the first graphic that I showed you. But it's exciting because you can travel through these ideas and concepts and theories, and wonderful little journeys can happen where you'll get insight not only into, let's say, teaching in a classroom, but you'll get insight into interpersonal relationships or societal demands or family dynamics. So ed psych is psychology. This module is called What's It All About? And we always have a theme song for our modules, so I will come over here and play a little bit of the theme song for this week. It's called What's It All About, Alfie, and it's by Dionne Warwick.
What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind and...
We'll stop there. But what's it all about, Alfie? That's what this module is all about, to introduce you to the realm of educational psychology, why we study it, and how we study it. It's very important to wrap your head around the fact that this domain, or the realm of educational psychology, is one that's based on science. We research the heck out of things that may seem even like common sense, but we use research and rigorous methodologies so that we're not relying as educators on common sense or folk wisdom or what have you, but we're using science and research to develop solid teaching methods and theories of learning and motivation. So let us dive right now. We're going to open up our course module here in module number 1 and have a look at it. This is the video introduction. You're already good there. I want you also to watch the walkthrough of the course syllabus just to get the lay of the land. You'll complete an About Me assignment, which is I'm asking you to introduce yourself to the class in a unique format. You will see what you need to do by clicking on that link. Then you'll come to number 4. I need you to set up a Skype date with me so I can meet briefly with you individually to just put a human face on this what can be somewhat impersonal exchange here. We want to understand each other and know about each other as human beings. And it also, the Skype date is important because it also sets us up, make sure everything's working correctly so that we can Skype whenever we want to over the course semester. And you might find that especially useful when you're working on your big paper that is due at the end of the course. I'm happy to bounce ideas off each other and help you with that big assignment. And then finally, this is a short to-do list this week. You're going to read/skim Chapter 1 in Seifert and Sutton. This is our online textbook that we're using. And I'm going to let you know that in respect for those of you who've already had an intro-level class in Ed Psych, please skim this chapter, or when any of the readings say read/skim, go ahead and skim the material if you're already familiar with it, with the topic at hand. If you haven't had a course in EdPsych, I highly recommend that you thoroughly read the recommended readings, the chapters here, so that you can have a solid foundation to build on. Other readings, by the way, will be marked just simply read. Those I expect everyone to read completely for the module. So that's it. That's simple, easy module to get started with, and feel free to email me and let me know your questions, concerns. I'm super accessible. I want to be here for you. So that's all I got for now. I'll see you around the block.